What's up, guys? We're back again for another Marvel Legends review. Today we're taking a look at maybe my least anticipated figure in this wave, just because I don't have a lot of attachment to this particular version of Spider-Man. So we're taking a look at the House of M Spider-Man. I was a big fan of this event back in the day, but I never cared too much for this suit. So we're going to see how that turns out. We've got him in our standard box here. We've got him in the window, Spider-Man logo down on the bottom, and in the back we've got product shots. Actually a pretty cool shot of him, honestly. And then we've got a little bit of a write-up as well as our lineup and Build-A-Figure. Let's pull them out and take a look. All right, guys, here's our House of M Spider-Man out of the packaging. And after watching this review, if you're interested in snatching one of these guys up for yourself, or anybody in this wave for that matter, I will put a link down in the description below to Big Bad Toy Store where you can check them out. But there's not a great deal to talk about with this figure. A lot of reuse, some oddities, really. So we'll start off with articulation, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty about this guy. All right, so for articulation, this is going to be something that we've seen a handful of times already. There is pretty much 100% reuse in this figure. This is the Pizza Spider-Man body, the vintage Spider-Man body. We've seen this before. So the figure can swivel at the head. You can bob slightly. Look up, look down. We've got a disc hinge in there. We've seen these butterfly joints before. I'm a big fan of these. They obviously help with motion in and out from the chest. This does kind of cause him to have some issues with putting his arms down to the side. That said, does it really matter? Are you going to have him standing that way? I want to count it as a negative, but when I think about it, no one's going to pose him like that. He's going to be posed. He's going to be doing something at least slightly dynamic. So it really doesn't matter too much, but it's something to note. Arms can go out. You can swivel them all around. We have got the bicep swivel, of course. We've got the double jointed elbows, which have a great range of motion. We have got hinges at the wrist, rotation, and they're both side-to-side hinges. You can click back one on the chest and double over a few clicks there. Swivel at the waist. Legs go out only that far. They kick all the way forward. They kick back. Thigh cut. Double jointed knees. There's nothing at the boot. And then we've got a rocker and we've got a hinge at the ankle. So for the most part, you've seen this before, you kind of know what to expect, but it's still articulated really well. I'm not sure that I would have liked them to use any different body for this particular Spider-Man. I do have my preferences when it comes to bodies, and this isn't really at the top of my list, but it does work well for your smaller, slender Spider-Men. Now, in the look and feel department, the paint and the sculpted department, you know, we know what's going on here. We know that this is Pizza Spider-Man. It's the exact same figure. I do think this figure has a handful of limitations, though, and I have one glaringly bad QC issue, which we're going to talk about if you haven't noticed it already as I've been moving him around. So this figure is, best I can tell, 100% parts reuse. Now, granted, we do have static hands here, so we've got a closed fist right hand and we have a thwipping left hand. But the figure itself, this is the same body as Pizza Spider-Man. It's the same head, same everything. The only real difference here is the paint scheme, and you can see he doesn't have a spider emblem on his chest. We have got the Spider-Man, the spider-like type logo that runs through the frame of the design, and you've got the kind of terminating legs down there. I don't think this is painted very well, personally. There is some bleeding down here. The red overlaps the black lines. For the most part, though, the lines are pretty clean. However, I find that some of the red is not the same color. This shoulder color is not the same as what's on the arms here. You're going to have a possibly difficult time swapping hands out for this guy, too, because of the fact that these hands are blue versus the hands on other Spider-Men, which are routinely red. So we kind of have an issue there if you want to swap those parts. I do think he looks fine from a general figure standpoint, from the slender frame. Overall, paint lines are clean except for down here. Now, I did say I have a glaringly bad QC issue. What's wrong there? The lines on my foot aren't painted. I don't begin to know how this managed to get out this way, because they painted these lines and they painted these lines, but they didn't paint this. So I'm going to have to go back to Hasbro Toy Shop and say, yeah, this figure is kind of jacked up. Do I mind? Not really. Honestly, I wasn't sure I was going to keep this guy anyway, but I can't get rid of him if he has a paint defect, can I? So yeah, we've got some QC issues. That's not really destroying my interest in this figure. I honestly don't care about House of M Spider-Man to begin with. So we've got that. We do have an accessory to talk about, and it is a weird one. So Spider-Man, we generally don't get a ton of accessories when it comes to the web aspect of the character. I don't have any that I can speak of. I know a lot of folks out there have more extensive Spider-Man Marvel Legends collections than I do, but we've got this guy now. So we have got a bit of webbing, and I don't like it. I think it's poorly implemented here. This is not new. This is not new to this character. This came in an Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie figure, but I don't believe it was a Legends figure. I believe it was just some kind of bargain Hasbro style figure. So it's got kind of a handle here, but as you can see, he has no gripping hands, so he can't really hold it. And it's got this kind of curly Q dealy bob at the end here, and it doesn't grip on anything. This is 100%, we have webbing in our arsenal. Let's just throw it in this figure pack to make it something worthwhile. I do think it looks good. You know, it's got a nice pearlescent look to it, and the webbing aspects are nice, but really all that you can do is kind of wrap it around the hand of the figure and kind of make it look like he's holding on to it, but he's not, and it doesn't want to stay all that well. I just don't care for it, and it looks more like a whip than anything else. I mean, you can see the back of it, you can see the tail of it. I just don't care for it. I think it's kind of an odd choice. It was an odd implementation. So yeah, he's got this. So overall, obviously, I've got some issues with this particular figure. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan on the planet to begin with, so I don't have any real bias towards him or not. I like some Spider-Men better than others. House of M Spider-Man is not on my list, though. That said, if he was a good figure, he'd have been fine. He's articulated well. He's on the right body. Obviously, I have some issues with the paint applications. Not necessarily my QC issue. That's its own problem. I think some of the paint colors are mismatched, and that QC issue is definitely a big problem. That's obviously for me to deal with. It's not going to be global, so don't worry about that. But I do think that accessory is very much lacking in implementation's sake. It's just weird, and it doesn't really work for me, and it's not going to be used in my display. So that's going to do it for this look at the House of M Spider-Man from Hasbro. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.